This is Rob Staunton, brother of Bob, and part-time bum fluff collector. I'm not recommending you subscribe to the Tommy Boyds Shrine YouTube channel. Why would you want exclusive rare audio? Push off, you jumped-up lefties. Don't subscribe. The following show from the 90s celebrates Australians. There will be no crude jokes from me about going down under. I prefer up top. Mind you, Cliff Richard is a bit of a tit, isn't he?
Ground control to Major Tom.
We've been expecting you, Mr. Boyd.
His is the worst voice you will ever hear.
Will he offer me his teeth?
The Tommy Boyds Show will teach you nothing. Nothing.
Always read the label.
Nothing but iniquity and wickedness.
If you really bug me, then I'll say goodbye.
I don't know about you Sheilas, but I'll tell you the truth. I've never met an English bloke, I've never met a British bloke who wouldn't rather be Australian. Free call 0500 10 53 89. But not if you're Rolf Harris, or Barry Humphries, or Kylie Minogue, or Jason what's his name, or Rod Laver, or Paul Hogan, or Cliff Richard, because they're over here now, but they're Australian, and they're kicking butt, and that's what Australians do well. I wish I was Australian, don't you? Free call 0500 10 53 89. The reasons are legion. I mean, Australians are better at sport than the British, aren't they? Is there any argument there? Is there any comparison between the Australian cricket team and the English cricket team? Nah. Case one. What about rugby? Whether it's rugby union or rugby league. The English, the Scots, the British Lions go over there from time to time to enjoy the beautiful scenery and find out how rugby union, rugby league should be played. What about tennis? I mean, we Brits, we're going on about the Tim Henman and that Canadian guy who plays in England at the moment, Rosetsky, but those two would be blown away if they ever tried the likes of Philippoussis and old Pat Rafter. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Wouldn't you know that an Aussie tennis player would be called Pat Rafter? Yeah. What about swimming? I don't think the English can swim, but it's just like second nature to the Aussies, isn't it? Free call 0500 10 53 89. I wish I was an Aussie. You wish you were an Aussie. Hey, give me a call. Let's exchange good days. Horse racing. Horse racing, which used to be the bastion of the English establishment. There's no greater race in the calendar now than the Melbourne Cup. 2.5 million Aussie dollars. That's what's at stake there. What do you get for winning that little thing you do over here? We do over here. The Derby. 250,000? Pah. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I don't know about British Sheilas, but I've never met a British bloke who wouldn't sooner have been an Aussie. Aussies are better at drinking. They're better at surfing. They're better at fighting. They're better at singing. They're better at acting. They're wittier than the British. Free call 0500. You get the rest. They're better at business than the British. I mean, is there any kind of an argument there? Through from starting with good old Kerry Packer, who sorted out the world of business and the world of sport, and then the guy who's, well, kicking global butt right now. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I wish I was an Aussie, but I'd be prepared to start as a Kiwi and work my way up. And now, the Aussies are turning to fascism. Fantastic. Don't know if you've read about this, but there's a Sheila in Australia who started up her own party just 6 months ago. She was running a fish and chip shop. Now she's heading up what looks like being the biggest political party in Australia, and she's running on a platform of sorting out the Aborigines. Fantastic. The Germans couldn't hack fascism. They gave it a go. The Italians couldn't get fascism right. But the Australians, when they do something, they do it right. So watch out, world, because we're going to find out what fascism really should look like. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Give me a call, cobber. Australia's been loyal friends of Britain down the years. I mean, the Australians were used as cannon fodder during World War I at Gallipoli. But did that stop them turning up to fight for the Brits in World War II? No, they were there. Well, the Australians let the Brits test all their radioactive weapons just round the corner from Australia. Never charged, never minded, Didn't even ask for free sunglasses. Free call 0500 10 53 89. And they've kept us in meat and butter for a century. I wish I was an Aussie. I know you do too, Cobber. But what about the Sheila at the back? I'll buy you a drink in a minute, love. I'm up at the bar talking to the guys. This is Talk Radio. I'm Tommy Boyd. There's a good argument for listening.
The future of radio. The Tommy Boyd Show. Ho, ho, ho.
I wish I was an Aussie. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Bruce calls from Northampton. You're on Talk Radio. Good day, Bruce.
Good day.
How you doing?
I'd like to point out that your comment about all the British people like to be Australians, that's nonsense. Simple fact is I'm proud to be British and I'm happy to be British.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, be honest with me, Bruce. You'd rather be Australian, wouldn't you?
No way.
Sure you would, pal.
Well, give you examples. The country's dry, it's out of order. You can't even buy a latest car.
Hey, you've been watching too many black and white Skippy shows.
No.
It
You
used
can't
to be
even go down the high street and order yourself a nice car.
You certainly can. It used to be a frying pan, I'll grant you that, but it's one big billabong now. No. Bruce, wake up and smell the coffee. Sheila calls from Enfield. You're on Talk Radio, Sheila. Good day.
Hi, I'd just like to ask you, why on earth anybody would want to be a group of people who are forcing the indigenous people off their land? And not only that, they're all a bunch of convicts.
Well, it's kind of an old-fashioned idea, isn't it, that we've all been deported over there, you know, I mean...
Okay, fair enough, if you don't want to acknowledge that point. But what about the point that they're forcing the indigenous people off their land?
Well, it's very popular with the Aussies, that policy.
And that's a good thing.
Well, I mean, I believe in democracy.
No, there's not democracy. Those people were there first. And these people just come along and strip them of their land, are not allowing them to make advances. And you want to be part of a group of people like that?
Well, I think it's a bit sudden of you to denigrate an entire nation just because they're prepared to let everybody with all political views be heard. That's democracy, Sheila.
No, but...
You're into censorship here. These are dangerous waters, Sheila. Sheila.
No, why are you trying to avoid the subject?
Dangerous waters, Sheila.
Stop avoiding the subject. These people are being forced off their land. Why should that be happening?
Well, I don't think you've quite got hold of the issue.
I have.
No, you haven't.
Okay,
which bit of land,
you
then?
enlighten me then.
Yeah, well, which bit of land?
The land that was recently on the news.
Yeah, but you can't quite remember where it is.
Okay, but fair enough. That was the whole gist of the...
On a scale of 1 out of 100, what kind of a grasp of the Aborigine problem have you got?
Okay, I'll probably say about 2.
What you've got is a nice little shallow women's magazine version of the fact that there are some jolly nice Aborigines and 1 or 2 Australians who are not very nice to them. And that's enough for you to think that you can comment on the issue here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it ain't.
But you were just talking about democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody has their right to say whatever they feel, right?
Not everybody's entitled to their opinion, Sheila.
In Australia or in England?
In England.
Well, okay, if we're talking as Australians here, let me have my say and say what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
And then you can enlighten me on where I've gone wrong.
Now, the beauty of democracy is you're entitled to have your say, all right? And if you have rings run around you because it turns out that you don't know what you're talking about, then you've got to go disappear with your tail between your legs. Now then.
No, but you haven't answered the question, though.
Yeah, that's because the question is based on insubstantial presumptions.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But
okay, fair enough.
Okay, no, but wait. No. Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough.
But
what you're saying is fair enough. You don't know what you're talking about.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yes,
I'm saying that I've seen the evidence.
Yeah. You've seen the evidence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a
TV. Program, on TV. Somewhere.
Yeah. Look, no, you always do this, Tommy. Why can't you just realise the fact that these people are being forced off their land? If I don't know what I'm talking about, you tell me exactly what is going on.
Sheila in Enfield, let's have a word with Debbie, who calls from Merseyside. Debbie, welcome to Talk Radio. G'day.
Hi, Tommy.
Can I call you Sheila?
Yeah, you can call me Sheila, mate.
G'day.
Hiya.
G'day.
This woman that has been on the radio, like the Poms went over there, didn't they? And shot most of the Aboriginals as soon as they arrived on their land anyway. So I don't know if she's talking about what the Australians are doing to them.
Well, I don't see why we have to get all serious about the Aussies, you know. I mean...
I am an Aussie.
Yeah, most of the Aussies I've met, Haven't done anything to the Abos. They've never met them.
The Abos get stacks. They get so much social security. They've got, they're getting all the land back, and they want more and more and more and more. And now they just don't need. They're fringe dwellers now, and they don't even know what to do with their land.
Tell us a little bit about this Sheila who started her own political party in Australia. Fantastic.
I don't know about her, but I know that she's just from Queensland, and I'm from Western Australia, and it doesn't affect the rest of Australia. It's mainly the Queenslanders, and they're pretty backward anyway.
What do you
say? Can I say that?
Yeah, of course you can. They're a long way away.
It's just a small political party in Queensland. It's got nothing to do with the rest of Australia.
Well, I don't know how small it is now.
Yeah, it's quite small, yeah.
Getting a lot of support.
Yeah, from Queenslanders and from bush people, the station owners who are staunch sort of...
Ordinary people?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can't have ordinary people telling politicians what to do, can we?
Certainly not, no.
No. We want to get the elite in there, like they have in England. We want to get the elite establishment in, organising political parties.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a worry, I must admit.
Okay.
Thank you for your call.
All right, bye.
Free call 0500 10 53 89. We're celebrating Australia. I wish I was Australian. I really do. It must be great to be an Australian walking around Britain, especially when their cricket teams and their rugby teams are over here. Bruce calls from Bristol. You're on Talk Radio. Bruce, good day.
Hi, Bruce.
Bruce.
All right, Bruce.
Good day.
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Listen, my problem here is the only thing we've got from the Australians is the barbecue.
Yeah.
I'm a vegetarian, so they're not that much good to me anyway.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just that's it. That's Australia for me. Barbecues, and and they're not much good over here because it rains all the time.
Barbecues.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was celebrating the fact that Australian men, Bruce, are men. Are you a man?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an Englishman. I'm an Englishman that loves watching my side lose at cricket.
A vegetarian who won't start a barbecue if it looks like it might spot with rain.
Exactly.
You're a man.
Right, can I just go back onto your last subject? Little. I've got this little poem.
A poem?
Yep, and it's on the last subject.
How long is it?
It's not very long at all. It's
How
short,
many verses?
And it's a love poem.
How many verses?
It's just a one little verse.
Okay, excellent. I love poetry on the radio.
Yeah. It's called Sacred Movement. Okay? And it's at first a distant rumble.
Yeah, no, not that, Bruce. No, sorry. Bruce calls now from London. You're on Talk Radio. Bruce, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tommy.
Good day.
Yeah, I think good day. Yeah, I think the thing with Aussies and the English is they're both the same. Just Aussies are just British people with more space, really. So you can't really differentiate. They got more land and they got sun.
Yeah.
So it's basically there's no difference.
Well, they do seem to be pound for pound, penny for penny, a good deal more successful than the Brits, though, don't they?
Well, no, I mean, I suppose they're good at sport and stuff because it's the psychology. They got their country for free, went out there and grabbed it. So they do the same in sport. They don't stand on ceremony. Just go out there and grab it. If you can grab something for free.
Yeah, I wasn't so much focusing on the reason. I was just focusing on the fact.
Well, they got it for free, like I say. They went out there, grabbed it.
No, I said to you, concentrate. I'm not focusing on the reason. I'm focusing on the fact they are better at sport than the British.
Well, I've just said to you, because they got a better mentality.
And I just said to you, I'm not focusing on the reason, I'm focusing on the fact.
And I just said to you, the reason why is because psychologically, they think they're winners.
Do you want to fight?
No, I'm just answering your question.
But do you want to fight?
No, what do you mean I want to fight?
Well, I mean, do you want to fight?
You just can't argue with me, that's all. That's why you're saying you want to fight.
No, I'm just saying, I wish I was an Aussie, and if I was an Aussie and you argue with me like this in the pub, I'd definitely say, do you want a scrap?
Aussies are violent because they just loudmouth for British people.
They have a scrap and then they go inside and patch each other up and have a beer.
Well, like I say, it's just their mentality. They got it for free.
But they're winners.
They're not. They just got something for free because you went over there and grabbed it for them.
They're winners.
They're not. It's just like you were talking about fascism. I mean, basically, what they got is Lebensraum.
The point I'm making is this. The Australians, when they decide to do something, they do it well. And now they're having a go at fascism.
The Pauline Hanson. I mean, that's the biggest joke. Out there in a country that she's nothing, that she's got nothing much to do with, and trying to keep foreigners out. That is the biggest laugh. I have a right laugh when I see that.
Do you? Have you never watched Monty Python, then?
I've watched Monty Python.
What about Fawlty Towers?
Pauline Hanson's funnier than that. She's
Not convinced. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Don't you wish you were an Aussie? I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio.
You
There's
know
a
it.
Good argument for listening.
Cutting edge.
Tommy Boyd sucks less.
You know, I don't want to bring this up, but you've been treating a lot of people with a lot of disrespect.
I wish I was an Australian, don't you? Sheila calls from Birmingham.
Good day, Tommy.
Good day, Sheila.
No, I don't want to be an Aussie. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yes. No, you've got the sea, very rough. You've got the sun, very hot. Sand
Hey,
and
hold it. Hey, hold it.
Yep.
You got the wrong end of the stick here, Sheila. I'm not suggesting you go to Australia.
No.
Because they don't.
No.
You stay here.
My sister emigrated to Australia.
Yeah, but she's not an Australian, is she?
No, not really.
No.
But let me tell you, if the Australians behave, she's been there 40 years, so really you could say she is more or less of an Australian, couldn't you? Yes, her children were brought up there.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. Well, she came over here. She's been over here twice, and we're glad to see the back of her. She talk about whinging Poms. She whinged and she whined. I mean, we are so comfortable here. Our sun is warm, not hot. We don't have hundreds and hundreds of flies.
Yes. It's great here, Sheila, but the trouble with being here is we're British.
Yes, you're British, but you're not really British, are you?
The best of both worlds.
You're all descendants from our convicts.
Yeah, the best of both worlds, Sheila, is to be an Aussie in Britain.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, true.
Wouldn't you rather be an Aussie in Britain?
No, I'm quite happy to be British. I'm very English. I'm very proud to be England. I'm proud of my country. I love it here. I wouldn't leave it for the world.
Free call 0500 10 53 89. Heaven on earth is being an Aussie in Britain. Anytime. Especially when the cricket team's over here. Kylie calls from Halifax. You're on Talk Radio. Kylie, g'day.
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 Why do you want to be an Australian? An Aussie?
Because the Australians come over here and have nothing but fun.
Right, well, do you know Rolf Harry?
Case in point.
Well, why does he have to make such sad songs up? And why can't he make them over in Australia?
Sad songs?
Yeah.
He didn't make sad songs up.
Downy Kangaroo Down Sport. I mean, that's sad, isn't it?
It's not.
What about that one with the three legs?
The three... Jake the Peg?
Yeah.
Well, that's Canadian. It's a Canadian song.
Well, I mean, she couldn't at least make their songs.
But did you ever hear Two Little Boys?
No.
Fabulous. Did you not?
No.
Hey, see, what do you know? His first ever number one, Sunrise?
No.
No? How about his last number one, Stairway to Heaven?
I think so, yeah.
We're talking about a serious performer here, Rolf Harris.
It's not. It's boring.
He's had 3 number ones. He's got his own television series. He's a better artist than Henry Moore.
I like, do you know that Animal Hospital, what he does? I
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
He's all right on that.
Yes.
But, I mean, he's not good at singing, though.
Free call 0500 10 53 89. Elizabeth calls from Loughborough. You're on Talk Radio, Elizabeth.
G'day, how you going, mate?
G'day, never been better. How are you?
I'm not too bad, actually. It's called Lugabaruga.
Ah, Lugabaruga, got it. Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. I don't like the name either. Anyway, I'd just like to say that I think English people are hypocrites. I really do. Do you want to know why?
I do.
Well, you get English people, and the first English person that comes up to you says, "Oh, hello." They say, "What's happening in Neighbours?" Then 5 minutes later, they say, "Oh, I don't like Neighbours," and stuff like that. And then I know someone that first time they ever met me, they said, "Oh, all Australians they live in wooden shacks still, and they live in the outback, and they ride horses all the while." Well, some of us do. But then I know this same person, went out to Australia a year ago, doesn't want to come back now because she absolutely loves it.
Loves the people.
Yeah.
Loves their attitude.
Yeah.
Loves their can-do spirit.
Yeah.
Loves their fire in the belly attitude.
Too right, yeah.
Yeah. They're up for it, the Aussies.
Definitely.
You know, an Aussie's never happier than when he's on the plane home.
Definitely. I will be when I get on the plane home.
Come over here.
Yeah.
Mate, come over here. Rub the Pom's noses in it.
Yeah.
Make a few bob.
Well, not in this country.
Get on the plane home.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah, one day, if I get enough money.
But you see, you're a woman.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's Aussie men who come over to England and kick bottom.
I suppose so, but we
isn't
can
it?
support our blokes, can't we?
Yeah, no, that's good enough.
Yeah.
From a distance.
Yeah.
We'll bring you drinks over.
All right.
Free call 0500 1053 89. Joe calls from Gloucestershire. G'day, Joe.
Ah, g'day there, mate. I'm putting it on a bit, but I am an Australian, and you left out the Australian women's cricket team.
There, I did that, didn't I?
They're doing pretty well.
It's a very nice century that Sheila scored at Lord's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're all pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Once you get through the team, they're still good. The ones that didn't even get a chance to play, they're still good.
How many Australians are there at the moment in Australia?
About 18 million.
And how many Australians are there in Britain?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Feels like quite a few.
Yes, well, we like coming over here and having a bit of a holiday, having a good time.
You do, don't you?
Yeah.
You
I
love
also
it.
wanted to comment on Sheila and Debbie talking earlier about Aborigines because it sounded like nobody knew much about them, but that Sheila was on the right track. We have just done a disgraceful thing, and I'm in England and I'm ashamed to say I'm Australian because of the fact that we have taken the land from the Aborigines. Again, like you Poms came out and did it first, that's my grandparents and so on. And then we've just done it again legally, and it's just so sad.
There's
really sad.
Such a lot of space back home, isn't there, Joe, really? I mean...
yes, so why do we have to take their rights of their land? It's really... It breaks my heart. It really has. And it's broken a lot of hearts in Australia. A lot of people are not happy about it.
What I remember of the Abo culture, you know, they kind of don't think they own anywhere.
Oh, yes, they do. They have a very close relationship with the land. They get upset if you move them from one bit of land and you think, well, you know, they can just go across the river or, you know, into the mountains. Nope. They want to stay with their bit of land.
Well,
they have a very close connection with it.
Who doesn't, really? You know, it's just
much
that
more.
In this country, in this country, you know, you can't just kind of walk into a field and say, oh, I think I'll have this.
No, you can't do that. But then people have sort of bought it, and that's to do with property rights. Their relationship with the land is much more organic. It's not to do with property rights, and therefore they can't buy it and sell it. They don't think of it in those terms.
No, exactly. See, so what's the difference between one bit of land and another bit of land to them?
It's almost like a relative. It's a bit like saying, well, you can throw away that parent and you can go and get another one. That's all right with you, is it? For them, that's what you're doing with the land. It's like a relative to them. They know it so well and so intimately, or they did. Not many of them have that opportunity these days.
I don't know about that. You see a lot of them in T-shirts drinking from tinnies these days.
Yes, you do, because a lot of them are being pushed off their land.
Well,
what
wait a
would
minute.
happen
Hold
if you
on,
were
hold your
pushed
horses.
off? If everything you had was stolen.
You can't have it both ways. You can't go wandering around saying that that hill over there is my granddad, and at the same time making sure you're in front of the television for the football on a Saturday night. You can't have it both ways. You're either in the 20th century, or, you know, you're back in Cro-Magnon times, which is fine. But
No,
you can't have it
they
both ways.
weren't Cro-Magnon at all. They weren't primitive peoples before the Europeans arrived. They had their own very sophisticated culture.
Yeah, but...
And highly sophisticated. They got that
No, you're
taken
getting
away from them. What would you do?
You're getting confused here. I'm talking about whether or not you embrace the technology of the 20th century, which in part they seem to be happy to do.
Yes, they do that.
Whilst at the same time claiming that everything, as far as you can see, from Ayers Rock down to the sea and back again,
Oh, no, they're
belongs
not.
to them.
They're not claiming that at all. What they're claiming is Crown land. It's land that the Europeans or the British came in and said, this all belongs to the Crown.
Yeah, you see, I think there's a lot of hypocrisy
and they want it back.
in this business about leave the abos alone, you know?
How do you mean hypocrisy?
Well, because I think it's an easy argument to attach yourself to, because it makes you seem like a caring person.
I think it's more important to find out more about it, which is what I'm supposed to do.
I think that's why most people choose that point of view.
I think a lot of Australians really don't know very much about it themselves.
Did you let somebody live in your garden because it turned out that their relatives had lived... Listen to me. It is the same.
No, it's not the question at all.
It is the same. It is exactly the same. Would you let somebody
If somebody stole my back garden,
No,
I'd
listen
want
to
it
me.
back.
Listen
That's
to me.
what they're after.
Yeah, but what about if somebody decided that their great great-grandparents used to own your garden, so they're going to live there.
No, that's a different thing.
I'm asking you what your view would be on that.
You wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be happy about it, but there would be legal documentation that would trace that through. If we go through the legal documentation, we find that it's very, very shonky.
See, when it's in your backyard, it's slightly more complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, and if somebody turned up with documentation that showed that there was a really shonky deal way back in the past, and in fact, right through, I would want compensation, but I might have to accept the fact that my backyard belonged to them.
Exactly.
If it was really legally
Exactly.
shonky.
And have you bothered to find out whether your garden was stolen from somebody?
I know that everywhere in Australia where I might be, like my home in Melbourne, is on land that used to belong to the Aborigines.
We have an ancient term for this attitude of yours, Joe. It's called NIMBYism.
Yeah, well, I don't know that one. I just know that I have bothered, unlike many other Australians, to find out what has really happened to the Aborigines and what the legal rights were and how they were robbed of things illegally.
As opposed to legally?
Yep.
Okay, there's a sharp mind at work. We're celebrating the Aussies. They're over here. And aren't we just glad? Bruce calls from North Yorkshire. You're on Talk Radio. Bruce, g'day.
G'day, Tommy.
G'day.
Right, I totally agree with you, Tommy. Aussies have more respect and discipline. They're more disciplined than us. Don't you think?
It's a fact, isn't it, mate?
But you did say they were better at sport than us, didn't you?
Can we keep the accent going? Come on.
Oh, you did say they were better than sport than us, didn't you, Tommy?
Not sport, mate.
Well, they're not as good as football. Good at football, are they? You have to agree.
Well, are you sure about that? We haven't played them lately.
Well, I think
we haven't played them lately, have we, mate?
No, but I think we'd beat them, don't you?
If you ran a line through, right, they nearly beat Iran, and Iran nearly beat Ghana, and Ghana beat North Korea, and North Korea lost to Argentina, who beat us.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's less crime over there as well, isn't there?
True enough.
So what do you think? Because they have more respect and discipline, it's all down to that. They respect people more.
Liam calls from Leighton Buzzard. Liam, you're on Talk Radio. G'day, mate.
G'day. How are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
I was just listening to what was going on. I don't know who that lady was with the stuff about the Aboriginals, but she obviously hasn't been out to one of the Aboriginal settlements where they're all out there partying.
Yeah. Well, she was only a woman.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
We could tolerate them species at home.
Yeah.
But, I just ring up to say all Aussies are supermen because we have the outdoor life and we're out there in nature. The days are hot, so we've got plenty of time to enjoy our sport. And that's why we conquer all.
How come Aussie guys are all so laid back?
It's because our environment's set outside. There's, most weeks of the year are fairly warm. You walk around in shorts. You do a lot of things outside, so you get a bit... I don't know, you think you get accustomed to doing more manual sort of duties and you feel a bit stronger and you adapt to sports quicker because you can practice more outside.
Yeah. Fit, good looking.
Pardon?
And you can hold your beer.
Sometimes. It's straight. There's a lot of people who can't.
True enough.
I think the English are better drinkers, personally.
They drink more?
I think they drink better.
Do you really?
Yeah, because they drink bigger beers. These big pints,
Yeah.
I've seen they tuck a few of them away.
You really think so?
Yeah, I think they're better drinkers. I think the women here are better too.
That's interesting. I was at the jungle, but do the women think more of Australian men or British men?
Our women?
British women.
British women. I think British women, they don't mind Australian men.
What I'm asking is it a good card to play to be an Aussie?
It is if you're in England.
Yeah.
If you're in England, you do it right if you're an Aussie bloke. I mean, I've got a girlfriend and she's English and she's unreal. But I think if you're an Aussie guy, they sort of think you're a bit not macho, a bit more masculine. I'm not really into the macho scene, but I think they tend to think you're a bit more rough and ready. I don't know.
It's also quite a good accent, isn't it? Your accent's good. What sort of an accent that Richie Benno chap got? Richie
Benno, I think he's probably from Melbourne. Gets a bit punsy down in Melbourne.
Well, I think so. He tends to sound a bit less butch and
of
a fighter.
The accent's very down in Melbourne. They've got some good crew down there, but on a whole, the real men come from Queensland.
Do you get different Aussie accents?
You certainly do, yeah.
Okay, what's yours?
I'm from Queensland. I live at Sunshine Beach.
Right, Sunshine Beach?
Yeah.
So, like with Geordie, at the end of each sentence, you go up?
Oh, for sure, probably. We go up. If you go a little west into Queensland, they slow down quite a bit.
Oh, right.
You know, like what it is.
Do you get yokels in Australia?
Oh, yokels. We get full-on rednecks. They all follow Pauline Hanson. And it's good. I think what she's doing is great. But but there's a lot of extremists that are jumping on the bandwagon.
Look, seriously, let's just talk about fascism for a second, because if you accept that, right,
well,
in politics, fascism is where you have a complete political party that's built around the cult of a leader, then they've got that, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's based on nationalism, my country, right or wrong, so it's got that, hasn't it?
Well, it's not so much my country. She just wants a fair dig for everybody, a fair hit of the hammer, I should say, because we've got a lot of immigration happening, and our Asian sector, which we're closely linked to, if every 100 people, you might get 80 to 90 of them people being Asian. So that percentage is rather high. She wants to cut down on that so it allows more Pommies to come in, more Europeans and stuff.
I think we've kind of got what she's all about, and, you know, there have been people playing with these ideas for the second half of the 20th century for all they're worth, but it always ends in tears, doesn't it, Liam?
Well, a lot of people just get too sentimental. They just got to say, right, we're all in the one place, let's everyone get treated the same, you know, don't go giving all the abos or handouts like they get now. Because instead of, they just give it to the individual's going to spend it on piss, you know, or down the pub. But if they put in the programs to educate the Aboriginal and to show him that, you know, this is the way to go. Because he's had to adapt to in 300 years, his culture has had to adapt and, I mean, it seems like a long time, 300 years, and we're all individuals, but if you take people running around the bush and then bang, they're into the 20th century, instead of feeling sorry for them, help them out and put it into the education, but don't give the individual money, because he's only going to piss it up the wall, and it's going to make a mess.
Liam, I'm glad you rang.
No worries, mate.
No worries. Let's talk to Bruce, who calls from Stirling.
Good day, mate. I'm just phoning you to tell you that the Scottish would beat the Aussies at fighting, drinking, anything you want to name, you'll beat them at.
I'm glad you've risen to the bait, pal.
I'm not rising to the bait, I'm just telling you facts.
Shall I tell you something?
Hitler was terrified there. Yous were terrified.
Hitler'd never heard of Scotland.
He heard of Scotland. He used to call us the Scotty Devils.
I have just read the Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, and I can promise you that Hitler never refers to Scotland, ever. He does not.
Does. He called us the Scotty Devils.
He did not. He did not, okay?
Well, I'm referring to the Scottish Bravehearts.
I'll tell you what amused me. Did you wake up this morning and find out that the English Secret Service had hatched a plan to assassinate Hitler, and their preferred method of assassinating the Fuhrer?
The English couldn't assassinate anybody.
Yeah, shut up and concentrate.
I don't need concentrate.
Flipping single-mindedly dumb, some Scots.
The English couldn't beat anybody.
Why don't you shut up and listen? All I was going to say was, it might have amused you because it was rather a dig at the English. But you can't get beyond drinking, can you? How many have you had today?
I'm working.
Yeah, well, so, you're Scottish. How many have you had today?
None.
None. Anyway, apparently one of the plans was to assassinate Hitler by lacing his tea with poison. Honestly. And you watch those Ealing films, don't you, about the British effort in the Second World War, and you think, well, we couldn't really have won the war with that sort of approach to the whole thing, could we? Any other country would have taken him out, you know, by the foulest means possible, but we were going to slip something in his 4 o'clock tea. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Next, what is the best way to banish the dreaded school run? How about lowering the driving age, say, to 11?
Doorstep-to-doorstep delivery across the globe. Street Beat Symphony with DHL Worldwide Express.
No, damn it, think about it. Why 11? They could drive a car better than you when they were 7. Let's lower the age at which children are allowed to drive cars. We launched Street Beat Symphony with DHL Worldwide Express nearly 2 weeks ago, and our number one topic was the problems caused by the school run in the morning and the afternoon. A week later, John Prescott revealed in his white paper on transport that it was a priority issue for the government as well. Now, I'm not saying that we're in touch with Whitehall. I suppose all I'm saying is that we might be as perceptive as John Prescott, which is one of those badges that you probably wear on the inside of your lapel. But anyway, the fact remains, we are in agreement. The school run is a problem. And one way in which we could do away with all the problems that are caused by the gridlocks and the dangers to our roads of people taking their children to and from school every day is to allow children to drive cars. Let's think it through. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Could they do it? Could they do it well? You know they could. Because they can drive computers they can set the VCR that you can't. So clearly they're easily able to deal with 21st century technology better than the likes of you and I. Would they be able to deal with the additional difficulties of driving through a built-up area? Well, of course they would, and if we wanted to find out whether they could or couldn't, we only have to look at them using their computer driving programs on their screens when they're playing, and you'll see how good they are at making the right decisions, whether it's on the road or whether, for goodness sake, they're sometimes flying a Tornado aircraft in and out of Baghdad and doing it superbly, so they could do it. The problem is, of course, human prejudice. We don't think people aged 7 should be allowed to drive cars. Why not? Because they never have. But we allow people of all ages to drive bicycles, don't we? And we accept that people can take their cycling proficiency test when they're, 8 or 9 or 10, and we allow them out on the roads on their bicycles when they're 8 or 9 or 10. So why shouldn't they be driving cars? It makes sense. Free call 0500 10 53 89. It's 100 years since it was decided that you couldn't drive a car in Britain until you were 17, but it's a medically proven fact. Is it? Can we argue with the idea that people are maturing more quickly than they were just 10 years ago, never mind about 100 years ago? In all probability, physically and mentally, a 13-year-old now is the equivalent of a 17-year-old 100 years ago. Free call 0500 10 53 89. But should we stop there? Because cars would have to be adapted so that people with shorter legs and shorter arms and shorter spines would be able to see and hold and press the right pedals. Or is that the solution? Because if we were to, in this country, build some small, right-sized, petrol-driven micro cars for children, then there'd be two benefits. One, it would regenerate the British car industry because nobody else around the world would be making these petrol-driven cars that children can drive. And two, besides getting rid of the terror of the school run, it would mean that parents would no longer be the taxi service that they have become. If you've got 3 children, in all probability, you average between 6 and 9 taxi trips with your children every day. No. The best way to banish the school run, the best way to banish the parents as taxi service, lower the driving age. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
DHL Worldwide Express, the world's #1 international express courier.
Wondering whether the time hasn't come. Everybody's lowering the age for everything at the moment, to lower the age at which people are allowed to drive cars. 11 seems sensible, but why not 7? Alan calls from London. You're on Talk Radio. Hello, Alan.
All right, Tommy, what are you saying, man? I reckon that your idea is really, really nice, but I don't think it's going to work. I think it might cause a little bit more congestion, and it's not really going to solve the problem, you know? And I think they've got another problem with the kids really being able to afford it. You know, I think my little brother might need a little bit more pocket money than what he's getting right now, if you know what I mean.
How many children have you got?
Me?
Yeah.
I've got none.
None. Do you know how expensive it is to bring up a child anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, are you going to buy a kid to go to school with?
I'd sooner my son had a car than a computer.
Wouldn't you think it better take out their school buses or something like that? And then, like, you know, they get loads of kids together and then they all go to school in that one bus.
Well, you have to approach this problem from 2 directions. One direction is that you've got the school run problem and the parents as taxi service problem.
Yeah.
The other is, why shouldn't children be as mobile and as safe as they would be if they were driving their own cars?
That sounds like a really good idea, but it's not going to, solve solve That's what the problem is in the beginning. You can get loads of kids driving cars. And if I was 7 years old again, I'd love to be driving a car. I'm driving a car right now, and I wouldn't like to catch a bus ever again. But I don't reckon it's going to solve the problem.
Well, it would solve certain problems in the home, but you'll only know what they are, Alan, when you have children.
I do have one kid, but I look after it. It's not really mine. But I'm talking about, but that's by the by. I'm just talking about the problem that you want to solve, and that is being that
don't forget these cars are going to be much smaller than traditional cars. If they're child-sized cars, they're only going to be about 6 feet long. Peter calls from Corsham. Peter, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hello. I'm sorry. I've got to say I completely disagree with you. I think it's a really silly idea because most parents couldn't afford to buy cars for their children anyway.
Well, a lot could.
Yeah, well, a lot could, but they wouldn't do it.
Plenty
And
could.
all the maintenance and everything needs to be done, all the tax and everything
It's
on
their
the car.
choice, though, isn't it? At the moment, they haven't got the choice. It's their choice. We're giving people choice. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, but, they can't actually... Well, yeah, all right, the choice, but still, most children aren't responsible enough anyway.
Ah, now we get into the nitty-gritty. Yes, they are.
I don't think they are, though. No,
one
I
thing
think it's a stupid idea.
It isn't a stupid idea. It's a very, very good idea. It's just that you're stuck in the past.
No, I'm sorry, but I mean, if you see children, they're not responsible enough to drive. They don't know what...
What don't they know? What don't they know? Go on.
Well, they're not going to be responsible enough to actually look after. I mean, they're not...
What do you mean? What policy?
We have enough problems with young people driving around in cars anyway nowadays.
No,
I mean, all
we
this
don't.
joyride. Yes, we do.
We don't have any young people driving around in cars. We don't have any...
I think it's an absolutely stupid point. I think that people, if children are driving cars, then they're just not going to be responsible enough. They're not going to be able to afford all the stuff that you need to look after.
How many children have you got?
I haven't got any children, but I've seen...
How come whenever anybody suggests on the radio an idea which is going to make the world a better place for children...
I don't think it is. I mean, I just think it's a stupid idea, because children are not going to be able to...
You get all these blinkered know-nothings who haven't got children ringing up telling you why it's a bad idea.
They don't have the responsibility.
Explain.
I'm sorry, but, you see children nowadays anyway on the street, and they're just
Can you please explain to me what makes you think that this generation is irresponsible?
I don't think generally that this generation is irresponsible.
Well, you just said they were.
I didn't. I said that you look at lots of children who are on the streets anyway, just messing around. I mean, if they're going to be in a car, we have lots of problems with joyriding in this country anyway.
Yes, if I can stop you there for a second, they joyride in fast adult cars. I'm suggesting that they are given smaller, low-performance cars.
Yeah, but it can still apply. They still might not be responsible enough.
No, you can't joyride in something that doesn't do more than about 30 miles an hour. That's
it's still 30 miles an hour, isn't it? They can still drive along and crash
cars. What have you got against young people that makes you think that they're so appalling?
I haven't got anything against them. I just think that I see lots of children nowadays all over the streets messing around as it is, and that they'd be too irresponsible to own a car because they wouldn't be... they're not responsible enough to be able to, cope with all the stuff that it needs, and plus being able to afford it as well.
Free call 0500 10 53 89. Street Beats Symphony with DHL Worldwide Express. Best way to banish the school run and the nightmare of parents as taxi service, and liberate our young and protect them at the same time. They're safer in their own small cars than when they're on bicycles. Lower the driving age. 11 is sensible, but why not 7? Pierre calls from London. Pierre, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy.
Pierre.
I think you're talking nonsense, as you often do. Because I study children's eyes, and they actually officially have much shorter eye vision than adults. So they wouldn't be able to see properly, unless you gave them very special spectacles.
Well, I'd be in favour of that.
Yeah?
Possibly fit them with a pair of those night sight binoculars that you see the army wearing.
Yeah, but they don't exist yet, so your idea couldn't be put into practice yet. So it's nonsense.
Thank you for that, Pierre. It's always good to have somebody well-informed, giving an opinion from a position of expertise. Michael calls from Ealing. You're on Talk Radio. Michael, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Tommy.
Michael.
Well, one thing which you failed to mention, with these children driving these minicars, assume it's a primary school, say, of 400 children, which is not too large these days. Assume there's half the children have their own cars. Where the hell are they going to park them?
What, in the car parks?
What car parks?
Well, you get car parks. Where do you live?
Ealing.
Well, you have car parks in Ealing. Have you not noticed?
Well, hang on a second. No,
okay.
No, you're saying that the children drive to the school.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So where are they going to park the cars when they get to school?
At the nearest place where they can. To the school.
The nearest place to my local primary school, which is at St Gregory's, is in Ealing, which is a mile away. So you're saying that the children drive to the car park.
Yes.
Park the car there and then walk from there.
That's what everybody does, and so why should children be any different? Hey, I'm glad you find it funny. Street Beat Symphony with DHL Worldwide Express. A word with Laura, who calls from Bury St Edmunds. Laura, good afternoon.
Hello, I'd just like to say I think it's a really good idea because my dad's got like this mini car, like it's mows the lawn, and I can drive that really well.
Of course you can.
Yeah, and I think I've got a pony and I can ride her really well.
Of course you can.
And I can ride a bike, and I think like we should be able to drive cars.
And people like you driving cars would make the roads a safer place.
DHL Worldwide Express. We keep your promises.
If you're looking for exciting places to take your family this summer, make sure you join Lorraine Kelly tomorrow from 11 for the Outspan Big Day Out. She'll be discovering the fascinating stories behind Britain's historic ships and dockyards. And it's your chance to win £250 to spend on a big day out with your family. Outspan citrus fruit gift baskets packed with freshly picked oranges and grapefruit, or even a sunshine holiday to South Africa, courtesy of Outspan. Join Lorraine tomorrow for the big day out with Outspan. Seriously fresh fruit. Talk to you at 3 tomorrow. Here's Peter Dealey.
Don't have a clue.
No.
Best place to come for any cuisine, well, a lot of cuisine, is Bradford.
Cuisine?
Yeah, well, you know, posh food. Any food, really.
Bradford cuisine?
Yeah. Not only are the fish and chips excellent, but it's the best place to come for a curry in the world. Never mind India. Curries in Bradford are the best in the world.
You remind me of this bloke I was working with once, from Disney. You can imagine what they're like.
Oh, thank you.
And he was a sort of a, I don't know. He was a bit of something. There was something of the Jehovah's Witness at your door on a Sunday morning about him. Do you know what I'm saying here?
Slightly.
Pushy.
Pushy.
Besuited.
He was a bit pushy, saying everything from Yorkshire's crap.
Well, yeah, we've moved on from there. It's just that on the way home from the airport back to the hotel, he said to me, "Do you like Mexican?" He said, "Have you ever eaten Mexican food?" And I said, "Only in Mexico." And he went, "It's not the same." And you're making the same point about Bradford curries, aren't you?
Well, they have now a big reputation for being the best in the world. All right, maybe they are the best in the world, but I would definitely recommend coming to Bradford for a curry.
Kim, thanks for your call. I'm going to squeeze in Trevor as our last caller. Trevor in Southampton, you're on Talk Radio.
Oh, yeah, I just can't wait to get to Bradford. He sounded really enthusiastic about his chips up there.
It was a bit soggy.
It was a bit. Well, I'm pleased to hear still well anyway, Tommy, but I've got a little story to tell when some French people came over to stay with us. We're twinned with a little village called Orty, and the mayor of Orty came to stay with us. And he wandered off down to Bournemouth for the day. He came back and he told us that he went into a fish and chip restaurant, and he went up to the counter. He was with his family, and there was 4 of them, so he spoke in his best English. He said, I have 4 places, please. And the chap behind the counter said, "That's £38.50, please." And he just looked at him and he said, "What, just to sit down?" Are you with me, Tommy?
Yes, oh, how we laugh.
Yeah, so did he. 'Cause he didn't quite understand.
This is definitely not Bob putting a funny voice on. Click like and subscribe to the Tommy Boyd Shrine YouTube channel, and we may get more Bob Staunton. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am going to stick laxatives in Tommy Boyd's coffee. If he won't call it quits, I'll make him strain with the squits.